I'm Michelle Gauthier, and you're listening to the Overwhelmed Working Woman podcast. Hey, friends. Today we are talking about manifesting. I have noticed that in this first month and a little bit of this new year, I have been thinking about, talking about manifesting, creating vision boards, making plans for the future, deciding what things that I'm quote unquote ordering from the universe for this year. And I'm also doing that with all of my clients, which is making manifesting being like my top subject of the year so far this year. So I wanted to take a minute and just talk to you about manifesting. I feel like it's a word that we hear often, especially if you follow a lot of life coaches or self-helpy kind of people, but maybe you're not exactly sure what it means or how it can benefit your life or how to do it. So I'm going to tell you about all of those things today. If you have been working on your 2024 goals and you don't feel like you're getting a lot of traction yet, or you're feeling exactly as overwhelmed as you felt in 2023, and it seems like nothing has changed for you, I have a great opportunity for you, which is to join my group coaching program. I am just finishing up coaching the first group, which has been absolutely fantastic, and I am opening on February 12th, so next Monday. I am opening registration for the second group. The group will start, our very first class is going to be March 1st, and it goes through mid-May. So if you are looking for a fun, easy way to get your goals, whether that goal be, I want to have a better relationship with my spouse, or I want to figure out what I want to do with my life and my career, or I'm just sick to death of feeling overwhelmed and pulled in all directions, group coaching is the place for you. There's a link in the show notes where you can sign up to be on the early bird list. If you sign up within the first couple of days during the early bird registration period, you will get a bonus. Not only will you get everything included in coaching, which is 12 weeks of group coaching, videos that explain absolutely everything that I teach my one-on-one clients in small chunks. You'll get little pieces of it each week and work through them in a beautiful workbook journal that's included. But also you will get a one-on-one coaching session with me that you can use before, during, or after group coaching, which is, by the way, worth $250. So register soon, register early, get on the early bird list. It's a limited group size because I want to keep it really small so that it's intimate and I get a chance to work with each and every one of you every week. Okay, let's get back to manifesting. What is manifesting? Or what is the law of attraction? Those are kind of interchangeable terms in my opinion. Basically, the idea is that you manifest whatever you think about. So you create in your life whatever you think about. Now, I know it seems a little bit woo-woo and weird that you can just think about something or put it on a vision board and it just magically comes to life. And there is a little bit of woo-woo and a little magic involved here. I definitely think so. But I'm with you if you're skeptical of that you can just think about something and it'll boom, show up in your life. Now, sometimes that does happen, honestly. I'll give you an example of that. But most of the time, you have to take inspired action. So you think about the thing you want, then you have to do some stuff. You have to take action to get what you want. But this is very in line with everything I teach my one-on-one clients and that I talk about on this podcast, which is the idea that what you think, you become. What's going on in your mind becomes your results. So, for example, if you have a job that you hate right now and you're constantly thinking thoughts like, I hate my job, I'm so miserable, I'm so overwhelmed, I can't believe I have to do this again, what that will create is more of that, like more of hating your job, more of feeling miserable because your brain is focusing on that. It puts you in the energy of yuck, overwhelm, whatever your particular feeling is there. And from there, the actions that you take are to just hate work and complain and be miserable. And that's the result you get is you have another bad day. So when you're thinking about something negative all the time, you're manifesting to get more of that same thing. The opposite of that, which is the kind of manifesting that I have been focusing on this year, is to manifest for the things that you do want. And there are a couple of steps to do that, really three main steps to do that, to work on manifesting and getting the things that you want in your life. And I'm going to tell you all three of those. But first, I'm going to tell you a couple stories and a couple of examples that have happened recently in my life where manifesting just worked out and worked out fast. At the end of last year, I was on social media. I think it was Instagram. I can't even really tell you which social media platform I was on, but I saw this post about a reality show competition for business owners or entrepreneurs. And I used to love The Apprentice. And I thought, oh, that sounds cool. So I clicked on it, checked it out, and I decided to apply on a whim. And as soon as I did that, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to get a spot on this show. I just know it. I just know it. I applied. I thought about it. One of the main things that was very attractive to me about the show is that, yes, it's a competition, but it was very collaborative. I'm not a super competitive person that way. And it has a ton of very successful, like making $10 million and above business coaches who coach you on the show. And I just couldn't get over the potential for networking and exposure and all the things that I could learn. So I was really excited about it. And I just knew in my heart of hearts that I was going to get a spot on the show. So I watched the seasons to prepare for my interview. And as I watched, I thought, what would my answer be? What will it be like when I'm on the show? So I'm visualizing myself because in my mind, I was getting on it. I was in the energy of being on the show. I was excited. I felt confident. I thought about all the things I could learn. And there were many steps in the process. So at one point, I got passed on to like the third round or so. And I read something that said, we have 80,000 applicants and we'll take approximately 60 people on the show. And that didn't bother me at all. I just thought, okay, cool. I can't believe I'm going to get to be one of those 60. That's going to be so amazing. And I had my final interview and I felt like it went really well. I really liked the person who I talked to. She was great. I had no idea how many people had gotten to that interview stage. But I kept focusing on manifesting being on the show by thinking, okay, yeah, I can totally see myself being on there. So one morning in January, my handsome man friend texted me like, hey, what are you up to? And I said, I was just thinking about what I'm going to wear when I get on that reality show. And he laughed because he knows who I am. And he's like, well, did you get in? I said, no, I haven't yet, but I'm just thinking about it. So I was like picturing myself in the future. What am I going to wear when I get on this show? And guess what? Later that day, actually it was that night, right before I was going to bed, I got a text that said, you're in. You have been invited to be a cast member for our next season. So it worked. I absolutely manifested this. So what I didn't do was just see the post and think about it and be like, oh, I wish someone would reach out to me to be on that show. I manifested it in terms of I wanted it. I thought it sounded awesome and fun, but I also applied and I used all of my experience and skills to do well in the interviews. I watched seasons so that I could be up to speed and write down questions that I could ask them about the show. So I took inspired action, but all along knowing this is coming for me. This is coming for me. I know I'm going to get it. So I'm so happy to share this with you guys. It films this summer and I'll keep you updated on the process as we get closer. But that is one of the big things that I have manifested so far in this new year. It makes me very excited to see how the rest of the things on my vision board are going to come through. Okay, so now that I have given you that example, I'm going to give you a really small example of how things can happen sometimes. A couple weeks ago, I had just a busy day. I had probably 4 or 5 clients. And at the last minute, somebody scheduled a new consultation, which is what clients do when they want to meet with me before they become my client and see if we're a good fit. So somebody scheduled it last minute. And that was the time that I was planning on eating my lunch. But I was like, okay, great. Glad to have a consultation. But I really wanted to eat salmon for lunch today. I've been really trying hard to plan my meals, but I hadn't gotten the stuff yet. So I thought on my break, I'm going to run to the store. I'm going to get the stuff. I'm going to make it and have that. And then I'll have it for the rest of the week. But I didn't get a chance to do it. So I finished with my last client and I had like a half an hour, not enough time to do that. And I saw that my mom had called me. So I called my mom back and I said, hey, Mom, I'm between clients. What's up? What are you doing? She's like, oh, I don't know why, but I was so hungry that I decided to make a real lunch. And Dad and I are just about to sit down to have salmon and some veggies for lunch. And I just wondered if you wanted to come up. My parents live like 10 houses away. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. All I did in that case, I didn't even take inspired action. I just thought about it and thought about that I wanted to have salmon for lunch. I didn't get around to taking my own actions about it, but there, I manifested it. So I quick ran up there with my parents, ate lunch with them, left all my dishes at the table, which is the best part. My moms and dad are both always like, just go, we got it, go ahead. Ran back down and made it just in time to see my potential new client. So it worked out perfectly. I have lots of examples when you start looking for this in your life. I have lots of examples. This kind of stuff happens all the time. So if you're feeling skeptical at this point and like, whatever, here's like a small challenge you can try. Think of something small right now, like an object or a number or whatever it is. Just think of something. It can be anything. As I'm saying this, a cardinal came to mind because I just love cardinals. But if it's a number or if it's a cardinal or I don't know, something else, just think about what it is and keep it in your mind just for a few seconds. And then I want you to just look for it in life. You don't have to do anything else special. Just look for it and see where you see that number or where you see a cardinal. You might see a real cardinal, or you might like go to a restaurant and maybe they have a little cardinal sitting on a shelf, or you might see a sticker of a cardinal somewhere. Wherever you see it, just let me know when you see it because it's magic the way that this happens. Thank you for listening to the Overwhelmed Working Woman podcast. If you want to learn more about my work, head over to my website at michellegauthier.com. See you next week.